What's good, YouTube? Quinn Wade basketball analysis coming to y'all with a quick video. We're gonna talk about Big Ben Mclemore almost getting traded to back to Sacramento. Um, he obviously got drafted by the Sacramento Kings. He was a guy that a lot of people liked, including myself, because his ability to be athletic, mobile, can had a nice little soft touch in that mid range, and most importantly, he can knock down that three ball. That was a huge reason why a lot of people was high on Ben McLemore, is because he basically had it all. He had all the skill sets that you will want in a guy that was 19 years old, and he had the ability to develop and become even better depending on the training and coaching staff. But he played so far 5 seasons in the NBA. His career high was 12 points a game. His career high from three was 38% on 2.8 shots a game. His last season with the Memphis Grizzlies, he gave you 7.5 points, 42% from the field, 34 from three, 82 from the free throw line, 2.5 rebounds, and that's about it. So he started 17 games last year for the Memphis Grizzlies. At the end of the day, this is a little shocking to a lot of us because Ben McLemore has been a guy that everybody has kind of respected around the league. But even coming into the draft, LeBron wanted him to be. That was one of LeBron's favorite players, I should say, coming out of that draft. And obviously, he's a bust. He didn't live up to the hype. He hasn't even had a decent season. I guess you can say 12 points a game is okay, but that's a big letdown. But I will say he's only 25 years old. He won't turn 26 until February 11th next year, and he still has a lot of potential. He just needs to have the right coaching staff to be hard on him, to want him to be great. He has to want it for himself, and he has to pay attention. He's not a great defender either. He's athletic and he's mobile, and he's very good laterally, but he still doesn't play a lick of defense, and he doesn't try hard enough to even compete on the defensive end. And that's something that we thought he was developed to in the NBA, but he never even came close to being a great defender. Even going to Memphis with a team that is predicated on defense and players that play hard nosed defense, it never rubbed off on him because he didn't improve really significantly at all at the defensive end. But he's at a tailspin on his season. People are obviously, giving up on him at this point, and they have every reason to give up on him because he haven't gave us a reason to believe in him. Besides that, he's 25 years old with a lot of potential still, and he's still in the NBA. But going back to Sacramento, we've seen this happen with Bismack Biyombo. We've seen this happen with other players this season, going back to their old teams and trying to rekindle what they have left or get back in touch with the organization that drafted them. And I think this is a pickup that really ain't going to make that much of a difference. I don't see him getting that many minutes in Sacramento, and I don't see him as a legitimate automatic starter, even though they was trying to get in a shooting guard like Zach LaVine, and they failed to get him, so they ended up going back to get Ben McLemore to fill that position. I still think that won't be enough, and Sacramento is so young, and they're still rebuilding that it's hard to gauge how good this team can be at this point because they're still raw with talent. So you just giving up Garrett Temple. That's not really that much. He's a solid player. He's a little older player. He doesn't really fit the timeline of this team, but he is a veteran at this point of his career. But he definitely getting paid $8 million a year. You want to get rid of that contract, and you want players in their 20s or a player that can make a significant difference in winning. And they don't have. He's not either or one of those players. They do have Bogdanovich at that shooting guard position. He's 25 also, but he's a better team player and a better system fit for them. So I can see him getting the bulk of those minutes. Obviously, they still have Buddy Hield that can play that shooting guard position. He's younger than both of them, and he has a lot of potential. And I can see them trying to get a lot of them develop. But they also have Iman Shumpert, who is their best defensive player on a perimeter. Since they have traded a couple other players. So their best defender on the perimeter to me on this roster will definitely be Iman Shumpert, but I doubt he gets significant minutes because at this point his career is basically over too. So we'll see if they're going to utilize Ben McLemore, how many minutes they're going to give him. He obviously can still give you some points off the bench. He obviously can still contribute offensively, and he can give you about, as he proven, 7 to 8 points a game in spurts throughout the season, in spurts throughout games. And that should be enough for the contract that he's on. He's not on a bad deal. He's not on an over expensive deal. He's not on a deal that you should regret. And that's a good thing because he only has 1 more year left on that deal. And they have a reason to extend him if they want to keep him around, if they still want to try him out. And like I said, he's on a team-friendly contract. So it makes sense if you don't want Garrett Temple and he is younger, and you can see where his mind is at as he has been in the league for a while. Also, they will also be getting Deontay Davis, a guy that I liked in summer league. He's a big, athletic, mobile body that definitely can give you quality minutes. He only been in the NBA for 2 years. He's 6'11", 237 pounds, 21 years old, and I've been watching him a lot in summer league, and he has played well, getting to the basket, knocking down the mid-range jumper, pull up, rolling to the basket, getting offensive rebounds and putbacks. Obviously, he's not the best free throw shooter, and he's not the best project ever, but at the end of the day, this is another big body. They have a lot of big bodies already on this roster, and he is a young talent. I can see him as an asset, considering that he is still technically um, on that rookie contract, and you're not really giving up that much in general to get him. But you still do have Willie Cauley-Stein, you still have Jack Cooley, you still have Costa Kufis, you have Skal Labissiere. So I don't really see, and Zach Randolph too, and even Harry Giles. So I don't really see him being on this roster that long. And if he does, they're just trying him out and letting him run in the G League, or they're just going to waive him. And potentially they can also waive Ben McLemore because they did get a second round pick in that. Ben McLemore ain't a part of your long term plans. You can use him as a trade in filler, or just, you did the trade to take 2 salaries back to get a second round pick. So it makes sense for the Memphis Grizzlies to trade 2 players that they possibly doesn't see really fit that much on this roster. And why not try out some other players that can potentially help you? The Sacramento Kings get rid of Garrett Temple, a guy that can help the Memphis Grizzlies win right now. He gives them floor spacing and three-point shooting. And obviously Memphis gives up 2 young players and a 2021 second-round pick to a team that's still rebuilding, still trying to find an identity, still trying to find some perimeter players, still trying to find some inside players that can get consistent minutes. And Ben McLemore and Deontay Davis does that for them. And also they get another pick after taking these salaries back. And that helps because you're still looking for that superstar, and now you have a lot of young talent and an abundance of young talent, so where you can package a lot of these players to move up in a draft or potentially try to trade for a superstar down the line. And Ben McLemore and Deontay Davis is 2 other players, like I said, that you could put into those trades because they're intriguing, interesting young prospects, and you still have a gluttony of picks that you can still package together to even try to get a superstar or even move up in a draft to get a potential player that can become one. So Sacramento, this is a loony organization. This is an organization that has been dysfunctional, but to me, this trade is not bad for either team. And at the end of the day, I like this trade for both teams. It's not the best trade, not the worst trade, not a game-changing trade. Not going to put either team over the top, but Memphis getting a veteran that knows how to play and can knock down threes and play within the system, play within the offense and know his role while also being long and lanky enough to play multiple positions. It makes sense for them. And I don't think they should have gave up the pick, obviously, but Garrett Temple been a 35% three-point shooter for his career. The last 2 years he was in Sacramento, he took 3 threes a game and knocked them down at a 37 and 39% rate. So that's right around what the Memphis Grizzlies want to have if they still trying to make the playoffs with Marcus All, Mike Conley, and obviously they have Jaren Jackson Jr., who looks fabulous this season in Summer League, and I've been watching him play, and he looks excellent. So I like the move that the Memphis Grizzlies made, and it clears 2 spots on their roster, and it clears that salary cap that they had just to get an $8 million Garrett Temple. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think this is a good trade? Do you think this is a bad trade? Do you think this is a fair trade? Do you like the trade for both teams? Or do you think that the Memphis Grizzlies got the better player that can contribute right now and that helps them win? Or do you think that the Sacramento Kings won because they got a pick and 2 players that still has potential at their ages, and they still have them that could possibly be trade chips come trade deadline? So let me know what you guys think at the end of the day. If you still at Summer League or this your last day of Summer League, I will be here at 7. I will be at Summer League at 7 o'clock. So you know how I look. You know who I am. Just walk up to me, say hi, take a picture. We can kick it at Summer League. Check out my website, analysisplayground.com. Link will be in the description in the comment section below. Check out my Facebook page, analysisplayground.com. Link will be in the description in the comment section below. Like on Facebook to show support. The t-shirts are also on Facebook if you want to check them out and see how they look. I will be having different logos and designs and colors coming as I'm preparing to sell them on my website, on my YouTube channel. I will tell you when the t-shirts become available. Until then, it's Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis signing out, and I'll be covering Summer League after the event on my YouTube channel. And this is how you figure out how I feel about certain players and certain teams and certain rookies and sophomores that played this year in Summer League.